Tuesday, they had these pink sheets, kind of just detailing. Oh, dude. Hello, I'm Hayoung. I go to UC Berkeley. I'm currently a fourth year studying public health. And this past summer, I started a homeless ministry called All in Vain. So whenever people ask me about All in Vain, or they ask me about how do you have a heart for the homeless, or how are you so comfortable around them? And it's because I grew up around them at a young age. My dad became a pastor relatively late, so he actually switched careers. He used to be an engineer. My dad's first church was at a low-income city, and it was mainly American people, so like Dutch, Hispanic, African-American people mainly at the church. So our church had a lot of opportunities to kind of pour into the community and to really be part of the community. My dad would go to church early in the morning, and he found that someone had broken into the church and was just sleeping in there because it's literally like negative 20 degrees. And my dad would let them sleep there for a little bit. And then one time he forgot to wake the guy up and to leave. And so the church ladies came and they were like screaming. It was hysterical. It smelled so bad. All in Vain began this summer, but my heart for homeless people kind of began at UC Berkeley when I was an entering freshman. I just saw a lot of homeless people on the streets, and I just thought, oh, I think we should do something about this. Spring semester, my friend and I, we just decided to buy a bunch of food. We had a lot of swipes left, so we bought a bunch of to-go food, and we just passed it out on a rainy day. This summer, there was this one street that I was going on, 42nd Street, and it's known to be very heavy heroin users.
Sean Kenneth Knox, they call me Dude. I'm 44, North Oakland, California. I'm homeless. Just don't nobody want to live like this, bro. I don't care. I mean, people live like this because they have to. Some people that just have no choice at all. But 99% of us, we all have choices, bro. And our choice that we chose to live like this because this is what we chose to do. And it's just that simple, bro. There's no in between. 2019 and in California, it's too much money out here for a person to be homeless, bro. So we being homeless because we choose to be. It's hella money and they just want to give it to us. All we gotta do is just follow the steps. The steps is hella easy. But I don't want to do that right now because I want to get out right now. And it's that simple. And if somebody tell you it's different, they lying.
Initially, I started at 42nd Street, and I was consistently going there. And I remember when I first went there, I had this vision of not like God gave me a vision, but just my personal idea of how I wanted to see 42nd Street transformed. And I really wanted to see revival there. But as I got to know that street more and more, I realized oh, actually, there's a lot of sin. And there's a lot of terrible things going down here. And not everyone is really responding to the gospel as I thought they would. When I first started this, I cried a lot. All my friends already know me as a crier, but I was uncontrollably crying because I didn't really know how to process some of these things. I felt so shocked about the reality of this world. I was seeing prostitutes on the street. I was seeing regular dads coming and buying heroin, fights, abuse, all these things I was seeing. I just remember my heart being so shattered and so numb. I could not worship and I could not read the Bible for a good month. Even though I had experience with homelessness in Indiana, it was nothing that kind of shook me like this. Over time, I started seeing all these eviction notices, these pink slips. So first, all the trailers had to get kicked out. And people started getting in withdrawal because I think some of those trailers had drug dealers in them. So people were not getting their fix, and they were getting so angry. I don't think people were cussing me out so much. And then finally these pink slips came, and there were these eviction notices that said, we're cleaning this place out. And a lot of the homeless people on that street, they said, oh, they put that sign up all the time, but they usually just clean up the street and leave us alone. But I remember when I went there on Tuesday, the whole street was blocked off, and they ended up cleaning everything. There was this man, and we quickly became friends. And he was just sharing his life story to me, and then he started getting really sleepy. And he's like, oh, okay, now is my time for like my fix, my heroin fix. And so he started shooting up right in front of me. And I asked him if it's like okay to take some pictures too. And then there was like kind of blood on his arm. And I remember he like looked at me and like kind of smiles. And he shows me his arms. And he's like, look at my veins. And his veins were huge. Like they're gigantic veins, like right here. And I could see the blood pump. I could see like the heartbeat almost pumping on his arms. The vein, that's where the blood goes back to the heart. And everything that goes in the vein kind of is pumped out to the rest of the body. Whatever we shoot in our veins, that's what goes to the rest of our body. And it can be good or bad, and it can be life-saving or life-taking away. And that's why I kind of created the name All in Vain, you know. Because people always ask me, what can I do, what can I do, what can I do? I'm thankful that they have a heart for the homeless, but more than anything, it needs to be, what am I addicted to? What is my all in vain? You know, what is my biggest source of vanity? You know, who else is really, really addicted to that? And how can we, as a community, learn to share those stories well with one another and really have nothing left to lose, because we are worthy in Christ. We're not worthy in the world. Learn to share your story really well and very honestly. Because if you can't learn to share your story well, you won't be able to share anyone else's story, especially Jesus' story.